Forgiveness didn't arrive the way pastors describe it. It didn't come with peace, or clarity, or a sudden softening of the heart. It came like exhaustion, like a man too tired to keep carrying anger the same way every day. Weeks turned into months. From the outside, we looked healed. We attended family gatherings together. We posted carefully cropped photos online. People said, "You two are glowing." They had no idea. At home, Kemi moved like someone trying not to wake a sleeping monster. She reported her movements, who she spoke to, where she went. Transparency became her punishment. One evening, I found myself scrolling through old pictures on my phone. Photos from before everything cracked. There was one of Kemi, laughing freely, her head thrown back, eyes bright. I barely recognized her. "You don't look at me like that anymore," she said from the doorway. I didn't lie. "Because I don't see you the same way." She nodded, accepting the blow. "I know," she said, "and I deserve it." That night, we argued for the first time since the confession. Not loudly, carefully, like two people afraid of saying the final wrong thing. "You forgive me with your hands," she said, gesturing toward the baby asleep on my chest. "But not with your heart." "Because my heart is the part you broke," I replied. She sat on the floor and cried. Not the dramatic kind, but the quiet sobs of someone realizing that apologies don't undo damage. "I feel like I'm competing with my own child," she whispered. I looked down at the baby. He smiled in his sleep. And in that moment, I understood something dangerous. The child had become my refuge. When I held him, I didn't have to talk, didn't have to forgive, didn't have to decide. He loved me without history. And that scared me, because one evening, as Kemi reached out to touch my arm, I instinctively pulled away. The baby stayed. She noticed. Of course she did. "I don't want to lose you," she said. I wanted to tell her that she already had. But instead, I said the truth I had been avoiding. "I don't know how to love you and heal at the same time." That night, she slept alone. And for the first time, I wondered if staying had been braver than leaving. Or just slower destruction. The breaking point didn't come with shouting. Came with a knock. On a Saturday morning, while Kemi was bathing the baby, there was a knock at the gate. Firm, confident, familiar. I knew who it was before I opened it. Sadiq stood there holding a small gift bag. "I just want to talk," he said calmly. My chest tightened. "You shouldn't be here." "I know," he replied. "But this is my child too." I laughed, slow, bitter. "You lost the right to say to the day you slept with a married woman." Kemi appeared behind me, the baby wrapped in a towel. Her face drained of color. "I told you not to come," she said. "I had to," he insisted. "He deserves to know his father." Silence hung between us, thick, dangerous. I looked at the baby, then at Kemi, then back at the man who shared blood with a child I had been raising with my whole heart. "You will leave," I said quietly, "and you will never come back." Sadiq's jaw tightened. "You can't erase biology." "No," I replied, "but I can erase access." He turned to Kemi. "This isn't fair." She surprised both of us. "It stopped being fair the moment I betrayed my marriage," she said. "I choose my home." He left, but peace didn't come with him. That night, Kemi packed a small bag. "I think I should go stay with my sister for a while," she said. "Not because I don't love you, but because you need space to decide if you still can." I nodded. When the door closed behind her, the house felt hollow. Just me and a child who shared none of my blood, but all of my days. As I rocked him to sleep, a truth settled in my chest. I had been fighting the wrong battle. The question wasn't whether I could raise another man's child. The question was whether I could rebuild a marriage where trust no longer lived. And for the first time, I didn't know the answer. The house was never this silent when Kemi lived in it. Not because she was loud, but because her presence had weight. Now, even the walls felt unsure of themselves. The baby aged just faster than I did. He slept. He fed. He smiled at me like nothing in the world had changed. That hurt more than tears would have. Days passed. Then weeks. Kemi called every evening. Sometimes to ask about the baby. Sometimes to ask about me. Sometimes to say nothing at all. Silence had become our language. One night, after putting the baby to sleep, I opened the cupboard and found an old notebook. Her handwriting. I hadn't seen it in years. Curiosity 1. The first page read, "I miss my husband even when he is sitting beside me." I sat down. Page after page was filled with things she had never said out loud. How lonely she felt when I stopped asking questions. How she begged silently for attention I didn't notice I had withdrawn. How Sadiq didn't replace me. He only occupied the empty seat I left behind. None of it excused what she did, but it explained how it became possible. That night I called her. "Come home tomorrow," I said. She cried. Not loudly, not dramatically. The next evening, she stood at the door, uncertain. The baby reached for her immediately. She held him like someone afraid of dropping both love and regret at the same time. "I don't know if we'll survive this," I told her. "But I know we can't heal apart." She nodded. We slept in the same bed for the first time in months without touching. Yet something fragile began to breathe again. Not trust, not romance, hope. And hope, I realized, is not the opposite of pain. It is the courage to face it together. Hope is fragile. It doesn't announce itself loudly. It slips in quietly, afraid it might be chased away. Kemi returned home, but she didn't return fully. Neither did I. We moved around each other carefully, like two people learning the shape of a room after darkness. She cooked again. Ate. We talked about the baby, but never about the future. One evening, as we sat on opposite ends of the couch, she finally asked the question we had both been avoiding. "Do you still want to be married to me?" The baby slept between us, his tiny chest rising and falling like a reminder of everything at stake. "I don't know," I said honestly, "and I hate myself for that." She nodded, tears gathering. "I'm afraid," she admitted. "Afraid that even if we heal, you'll leave one day when the pain finally catches up." I looked at her then, really looked. She was thinner, quieter, humbled by her own mistakes. "I'm afraid too," I said. "Afraid that if I stay, it'll keep punishing you in ways neither of us deserves." That night, something shifted. Not forward, not backward, sideways. We agreed to counseling, not to save the marriage, but to understand whether it should be saved. Weeks later, the counselor asked me a question that followed me home. "If the child had been yours biologically," she asked, "would you still be struggling this much?" I didn't answer immediately, because the truth was uncomfortable. "Yes," I finally said, "because the betrayal didn't change the child. It changed how safe love felt." That night, as I tucked the baby in, he grabbed my finger and smiled. And in that moment, I realized something painful and freeing. Love had survived. But marriage was asking for something deeper than love. It was asking for choice, made every day with full awareness of the scars. And I wasn't sure yet if I was ready to choose. The decision didn't come suddenly. It arrived slowly, through therapy sessions, late-night conversations, and quiet moments where I watched Kemi interact with the baby when she thought I wasn't looking. She had changed. Not in the performative way people change when they're afraid of losing something, but in the exhausted, honest way that comes from deep regret. She no longer defended herself, no longer explained the affair. She carried responsibility like someone who understood it might never be put down. One evening, the counselor asked us to speak separately. When it was my turn, she asked one final question. "If you stay," she said, "what kind of husband will you become?" The answer terrified me. "A guarded one," I said. "One who loves but watches. One who forgives but remembers." She nodded. "And if you leave?" "A peaceful one," I replied. "But one who will always wonder if he abandoned something worth fighting for." That night, I went home and sat on the floor with the baby. Kemi watched from the doorway, saying nothing. "I can't pretend this didn't happen," I said finally. "And I can't promise you a love that looks like before." She nodded, tears steady but quiet. "I'm not asking for before," she said. "I'm asking for after, if you still want it." I looked at the child who wasn't mine by blood, but had become mine by presence, routine, and care. "I'll stay," I said. Not because I was healed. Not because I trusted completely. But because I believed something honest could still grow from the ruins. And the baby? She asked. He stays, I said. With me. She broke down then. Not in relief, but in humility. This marriage didn't get a fairy tale ending. It got something harder. A chance. Some nights, the memories still return. Some days, trust still wobbles. But every morning, a child runs into my arms calling me daddy. And I remember that family is sometimes built not by perfection, but by the decision to stay and rebuild. If you're listening to this and wondering what you would have done, you're not alone.